to my blog .stampwithelaine.com. I'd recently done a class on different ways you can use the gift bag punch board. The first one I made was a bog standard one, like so. And I offered a class and they made loads of other different shaped ones. And at our last teen quarterly training, I did a bit on gift packaging, and these are just some of the projects that I've done with the gift bag punch board. I even made a tiny thin pouch and a gift card envelope using this very same punch board. At the quarterly training, they asked me how to do this, and I said I'd do a video on it because it was just too difficult to explain. So here we are today, and let's get started. To make this box, you need both your trimmer and your simply scored scoreboard. And if you're using DSP that has writing on the back, then you need to make sure that when you do your box that the writing is the right way. I need to cut my paper at 11 3/8 inches, I think it is, that's the halfway mark, so it's just inside that line. So I'll cut off that strip, and then this way I need it at 8 3/8 inches. And in centimetres, that will be 28.9 centimetres by 21.3 centimetres. Now we need our scoreboard, and on the long side you need to score at 1 3/4. Use the thicker tip because this is designer series paper. This sort of box probably works better with designer series paper because it's thinner, and because when you actually get to folding the box, if the cardstock is too hard, you can't get the sharp corners. So I digress. Well, let's get back to this. So you score at 1 3/4 inches, 3.5 inches, 5 1/4 inches, 7 inches, 8 3/4 inches, and 10.5 inches. So in centimetres, that will be 4.5, 8.9, 13.4, 17.8, 22.3 and 26.7 centimetres. Turn your cardstock with the short side at the top, the 8 3/8 inches or the 21.3 centimetres on the top, and then at 1 3/8 inches just on one side. While we've still got our scoreboard, we'll turn our paper onto the long side with the scored shorter tab panel on the bottom, and then you need to find the halfway mark between each panel. So if the panel measures 1 3/4 inches, half of that is 7/8 of an inch. So you need to score at 7/8, 2 5/8. Just make a mark with your stylus. 4 3/8, 6 1/8, and 7 7/8, and 9 5/8. In centimetres, those halfway panel measurements will be 2.2, 6.8, 11.1, 15.6, 20 centimetres and 24.4 centimetres. Where you've scored on that ridge, slide it into your gift bag punch board, and with the tooth, might help if I take that out first, with this beak pointing on the score lines that you've just scored, punch, move it along, punch on the next score line here, move it along, next score line here, and you keep doing that until you reach the end. And you need to punch the end one as well. Okay, now where you've found your halfway mark between each panel, you need to make a diagonal score line. So how I do it is I use my Simply scoreboard, and I've got a white marker that I ran right down the centre of my scoreboard at the 6-inch mark. So I place my stylus on the halfway mark at the 7/8 inch mark, and I want to score a diagonal line up there to the 7/8 inch mark, and then I pivot my paper and do the same on the other side. And I repeat that for all panels. And basically, don't know if you can see that, this is the effect you're trying to achieve. So those are the red dotted dash lines I've made on each panel. That's the direction we're going. Oh, I think I've done that one. So pivot my paper onto the middle of that panel, the next panel. Now you're ready to burnish your score lines. End panel here, the narrow panel, you just want to chop that off at an angle. And next you want to fold these panels, the triangular ones. Now we've burnished all the score lines, we need to put them together. So just get my tear and tape. Is that the narrow section? Yes. And butt that up so it's flush with the top and your sides. Now we need to glue our base together. To get more secure, you need to punch out a 2.5 inch circle out of a coordinating cardstock. So I've got that in Tip Top Taupe. Just cover the bottom with combo glue, gluing it like so. Make sure that the shape stays true. Then tip it over and get a long ruler to make sure that the bottom is glued on properly. Now you can see the star shape of the box forming, so it's just a question of gathering the top together. You can see it's starting to take shape, and what you want to do is punch a hole through the top, pinch the sides together, and then make sure you pinch through all the layers. Now we use a length of tip-top taupe. I can't remember what these are called. And thread it through. There's your star shape, and then the fold of the box will just take its shape. You don't even have to pinch it or anything, it'll just fall into place. So to make the tag, I'm going to be using this stamp set called Stake Your Claim. It matches the hand-picked framelit dies. So I'm going to start with tip-top taupe with the Stake Your Claim. I'll need my magnetic platform, followed by my base cutting plate, cardstock, and the coordinating die. So I'm going to be cutting 2 of these, and then top cutting plate, and then I'll run it through the big jar. I've cut my pieces, so I'm just going to curl that. If I use this as a tag and curl that to make a tag, the wording will be upside down. So what I need to do is actually snip that off. I stamped 2 so that I could use the other one for the rest of the frame that has a white border all around that stamp. On the back of the tab and secure it onto the back, and then glue you can see all the mistakes I've made. Glue that onto the front. These tag and labels framelit dies. This one. I'll be right back. I'll go and cut that. And thread my linen thread through. Tidy up the ends. And voila, your box is finished. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and pop back for more inspiration another time. Thanks for watching.